then I come over here and I just do a little testing room. And then if
But
you,
what I always wonder is like, okay, there's David.
I see David.
Why? Hey, David, can you hear us?
We might have to do something else. This is all good. So that.
David Shaw, can you hear us?
Headphones are working on the side on this side.
Should I talk louder?
For sure.
Reading thick?
Hello.
Did we not do this right then?
Okay, I see the camera's working, so it's showing the council chambers.
So this is awesome, but then. Oh. That sound is not working. Teenagers.
Oh, David is connecting to audio, so he wasn't on yet. Okay, now ask him.
David Shaw, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay,
All right.
now.
So we did it right. We just-
Oh, I got really nervous there for a second.
Hiring at the pool,
Sometimes you have to exit out of the Zoom
that
and
not
start over
everybody's up
again then.
until midnight,
And start over with that.
or gets up at 5 AM, and the text messages are at all of the times. Last week, my husband was like, what is going on? And I was like, summer is going on, and he was like, oh, already?
You need to be 14 to work at the pool, right?
What's that?
You need to be 14 to work at the pool, right?
14 to work at the pool.
Okay. My daughter turns 14 mid-May, so I might be like, go get paid.
What is she looking to do?
I don't know yet.
Um,
She just lives her life at the pool right now because she swims club and then swims gators. And I'm like, just
I would say, this is just me, I would say that's the most natural transition is into working at the pool you swim at, because that's what I did growing up, is I swam at a pool in Park Ridge, Illinois, and then right after, like when I could start working, I started guarding there. Oh no, I started teaching swim lessons directly after practice, and then guarding, and then practice. And I was
Yeah.
there from 6 AM to 9 PM.
so
I
that's
was a
my
real good kid. I was out every single night, in bed, asleep by 10 PM because I was so tired.
they have the opportunity to do the lifeguard training
At
through
the school.
as a Phi Ed class. So I'm gonna try to push her to do that.
You get credit for it, don't you? Yeah,
Yeah.
I talked to the
Counts as a gym
fall,
class.
I talked to the fall and I talked to the spring classes
Okay.
about guarding, and then for my staff, I hold a class that it costs $150, but if you work for me, then I give $100 back. I make them pay for their certification because they can use it anywhere.
Mhm.
But I pay for the class.
So we'll worry about that her sophomore year, but yeah, I'm like, you got college and my wife and I are like, she's got college in 4 years and we can't pay for it all. Or won't pay for it all. I think that's a better way to put it. So I'd like her to get a job, but I felt like I don't want her to do like fast food or really retail. I'm like, this would be,
Already there.
yeah. So
I
we'll
might
see.
be looking for like assistant swim instructors. I think I'm either looking for one half or one total guest services.
Okay.
Because we've been just cutting down the amount of hours and the amount of staff. And I've got most of the staff from last year, that could come back that are.
Oh,
But that would be maybe one person there, and then somebody to help with lessons, which is right after practice.
Yeah, we got a couple other ideas that we'd like to pitch Pat by her for employment if that doesn't, if
I'm,
either she didn't want to, or if it falls through or something, so.
you know, like, at least the kids that worked at the high school when I worked there, a lot of them at like 14, 15 were nannying during the summer. And that was, they
We're-
didn't want to work at the pool, they
right.
wanted to nanny.
We're trying to push her to like babysit. She has no interest in babysitting.
Oh,
You're
really?
really great with, she really is legitimately great with kids.
Mhm.
Doesn't want to do it.
Well, that's too bad, but I
Exactly.
mean, isn't that like the thing, is that stuff people are really, really good at, isn't necessarily the thing
Yeah.
they like?
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But she also wants to swim club over the summer too, which,
Both,
yeah, she was do Gators and club.
did she swim back or back?
Wanakee,
Oh,
the
okay,
wave.
I forget when
So-
we're this far west that there's other swim teams.
Wait, what's that?
I forget when
Oh,
we're,
yeah.
I'm this far west that there's
Yeah.
other swim teams. In Monona,
Yeah.
it's back, Mac and McFarland, and that's
Yep.
really, and
Yep.
then I guess, what is it, the Sun Prairie?
Yeah,
The
Sun Prairie is,
Piranhas?
yeah, the storm.
Those are like the big ones.
Mhm. We live close to, well, northeast side of Middleton, so it's like 6 miles up to the Wanakee High School versus Mac is got a new facility almost in Verona. It's
Mhm.
just too far away, and back does West High School, Edgewood High School. So campus, we're just like, no, it's too much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot.
Tyler,
I'm trying to figure out how to share the screen.
but are we, because I'm the only one here
I
in
know.
person? There's two on Zoom, okay.
And then just emailed me that she's joining Zoom and about
Okay.
Lily's not gonna be.
And we don't have any, just like plan, we have kind of a, we had kind of a, you have to have 50% in person to have technical quorum. We don't have that, do we?
No, not that.
Okay, so we just, as long as we have, well, and do we have a vacant seat right now? Or no?
Do not have.
Okay, so we need to have 5 for quorum,
And in person means,
physical and present, like physically here.
All right, you have 3 on Zoom.
Okay, so 3, I'm 4, we need 1 more. Low on the dais.
if you're coming down here and just hang out with us.
I should, go ahead.
So is your daughter gonna be a freshman then?
Yeah.
And she planning on swimming high school?
Mhm.
Man, they got a good team.
They
Do they
do.
make cuts on that team or no?
I don't know if they do or not. What we heard is that there are 20 seniors.
What?
Yeah. So they're gonna have, I think they'd take 40 total, 20 for varsity, 20 for
Why
JV.
is it not sharing your screen?
That might be it. I don't know, but we heard rumors that there's gonna be 40 or 20 open slots, but I don't know if they cut or not. But she's a good swimmer. She's not like winning races, she's winning heats, but not like overall events.
20 seniors?
That's
Some
allegedly.
teams have 20 girls.
Yeah, one of her friends is gonna swim for East next year, and they'll be lucky. I mean, she's gonna make varsity no matter what,
Yeah.
because they don't have enough swimmers.
Well, and I mean, Middleton has a monopoly on swimming right now, I feel like in high school.
Boys
throughout the
and
whole
girls.
state. Like, it's not even a competition.
No.
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Still going to be in the council chambers to share screen for my agenda packet.
So it is 7 o'clock. I think we're gonna wait for some of the,
You got,
It's just showing like all.
You got 5.
Okay,
But not.
so David, Katie, who else is, Michelle, Jamie?
Can't figure out why it's like.
I know I saw Michelle. I don't see her now.
I saw her too.
So yours.
She's on there.
So we have quorum.
is
Okay.
not Sharing.
Should we just hold off for a second for tech issues?
Yeah, everybody's joined on the Zoom, like, I'm joined on the Zoom. Should I just go to the? You have to double click it. Okay. Wow,
Maybe
Okay.
7 o'clock.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry to bother you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, bye. You have to double click it, okay,
So-
Kevin? I didn't.
Share, double click, or double click
No.
on that.
When it came up. You just double click that. I don't know why. It seems like it was going to that section, but it did not.
There it is, okay.
All right,
I apologize.
we're good. All right, we're at 7:01. We'll call to order the February 3rd, 2025 Parks Record and Forestry Commission meeting. I believe this is our first one of the year, isn't it? Calendar year?
So this
Think
is the
so.
first.
So happy New Year, everyone.
Everybody has to share the video.
Okay, yeah, if you are at home, you do have to have your cameras on in order for you to count as being part of our quorum. So if y'all could make sure your cameras are on. Kylie, do you have a roll?
Yes, I do. Okay, we have Nick Adams, just because this one, I typically see everyone. I'm just struggling with who is here and not, but we have Nick Adams, David Shaw on Zoom. Michelle Bond is on Zoom, Jamie O'Donnell is on Zoom, Erica Pollock is in person, Katie Nelson is on Zoom, Lily is not present, and then I believe Aria Trucos is not present as well. So
Okay.
2 members not present, we have a quorum.
All right, so first order of business will be to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was in December 16th, 2024. Any changes, additions, subtractions to those minutes? All right, hearing none, I'll accept those minutes as submitted. So off to our new items. So item number 1 would be a little free library donations for Meadows Park.
Okay, and do we have Brenda Phillips online at all, Kevin, or did you not see? Okay, so we have a donation request from Brenda Phillips, who is looking to donate the little free library. This little free library will be donated for Meadows Park, and the location is near the entrance of that park, right next to the water fountain, that we identified as staff as being a good location for that donation. As a part of that, we will help with the install, with labor install, but all install materials, the materials to construct or assemble that little free library will all be on the donor Brenda Phillips. And then as far as running with filling books and items with a little free library program, that will also be on Brenda, and volunteers are volunteered to do so. And I'm just looking for a recommendation or review of this and any questions that you all may have. But just to approve the donation at Meadows Park for the little free library to be volunteer run and to remain to be removed at the end of its usable life, similar to how we do our bench donation program. If it got to 20 years from now, it would be removed if the condition was such that it needed to be. It will be all in recycled materials, so there are different options for free libraries to be purchased in wood materials or recycled materials. I had suggested to do the recycled plastic material so that it could be more easily kept up in our system.
All right.
As the alder of District 3, that includes Meadows Park, I'd like to move that we approve this donation, and I thank Brenda Phillips for the donation.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second that. This is
We have a
Mr. Shaw.
motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right. All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, hearing none, motion passes. All right, thank you very much for the donation of the free little library. All right.
The second was, you had second.
All right, agenda item number 2, the 2025 water management agreement with Carico Aquatic Resources Incorporated for the Bauman Community Pool.
And just to note, Aria Trucos, I don't know if I'm always saying that, your name? Trucios, I'm not saying that right, is present for agenda item number 2.
Do you want me to do it? So this is just an annual management agreement that we have had with Carico for about the last 10 years. The cost of season is $22,000 and there's a $400 delivery charge. This is something that we need to have every year. We need to have a water management agreement. We need a company that's going to be providing the chemicals needed to get the pool started as well as maintain it. So
Right. Any questions or I'll accept a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to recommend approval of the 2025 water management agreement for Bauman Community Pool with Carico Aquatics Resources and make that recommendation to the Finance Personnel Committee as well as the Common Council as presented to us tonight.
Hey, Dave, it's pretty hard for me to hear you, and I know that Kevin was signaling that he couldn't hear as well.
Sorry. Let me try this again with a command voice. See if this works any better. I move that we recommend approval to the Finance Personnel Committee and the Common Council for the 2025 Water Management Agreement for Bauman Community Pool with Carico Aquatics Resources, Inc. Is that better?
That's much better. Thanks. I will second. This is Katie.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, on to agenda item number 3, 2025 agreement with the Middleton Gator Swim and Dive for the use of the Bauman Community Pool.
and again, this is an annual agreement that we have with the Gators Swim and Dive. We update it every year and we are increasing the fee from $63 last year to $70 per swimmer this year. There's some information in here about the pool operational and staffing costs and what that would equal per swimmer based on the 2024 swimmer registrations. I don't know what their number is going to be this summer, but I would guess it's going to be about the same as last year. So we're looking at a $7 increase from last year for per swimmer at the Gators.
And I'm just looking at that because I know that this is something I've been kind of asking about how long until we get to the point where the city is not subsidizing Gators, and it looks like we're inching closer.
We're inching closer.
Okay.
The goal with user groups as we present those and we continue to present those to the Parks Rec Forestry Commission is getting to a point where we're not subsidizing for user groups, or that's the staff recommendation. And so working with user groups to get to a state when this hasn't been looked at in X amount of years. We want it to be a healthy transition for all of our user groups. So we understand that, but we also want to get to a point where they're covering 100% of their cost of our facility, our maintenance and items like that. So.
Yeah, and I think, I think parents would kind of appreciate the gradual increase. It's a little bit easier to absorb than, here's 25 or 50 more dollars per year. So. Any questions for staff, or I'll accept the motion to approve?
This is Katie. I'll move approval as stated.
All right, we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, moving right along to agenda item number 4, the Bauman Community Pool 2025 fee schedule.
A lot of pool stuff right now. The only big change is increasing the non-resident fees. So the individual non-resident, after looking at other public community pools that are similar to ours in the area, we are recommending to increase the non-resident individual rate from $110 to $115, and then the family rate from $225 to $250.
How many non-resident, either individual or family passes were sold last year? Do you have a ballpark
I
number?
don't have that.
Or like what
information.
percentage of our passes are resident versus non-resident?
I can look that up for you.
Okay.
Did our conversation around changing the definition around resident versus non-resident, was that ever integrated?
Mhm.
I thought so, yeah.
That will be new or that was integrated last year.
Mhm.
And then
After the pool season.
after the pool season, so it'll be new for a lot of the pool users, so we're gonna do a lot of educational pieces with it. But I'm just looking up our registration or membership we had in 2024 for resident family, and so that will be different depending on residency,
Mhm.
non-residency this year. But we had for family non-resident was 27, and then for resident family, it was 104.
Okay,
And pre-sales, so that was a combination, so 114, so a total of 200 and, oh my gosh, 218. Were for family resident passes, and then 27 for non-resident.
10%.
okay. Okay, so it's not going to be a huge revenue boost for us, but putting us in line with others in the area. Okay.
Yep.
Great. Any other questions for staff on this item? Not, I'll entertain a motion for this one.
Yeah, I move to recommend approval of the new fee schedule as presented.
All right, we do have a
Hey.
motion.
Katie, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, we're on to number 5, award a professional services agreement to Blue Stream Forestry Consultants for the completion of the street tree inventory.
Yeah, so in 2024, we had a partial street tree inventory completed by Blue Stem Forestry. The area south of Century and east of Parmenter, down to the city line was inventoried. We have that information. It's been input into our GIS software, and we're using that. This agreement would complete the rest of the city inventory of the street trees. Additionally, it would add in our park tree inventory, and it would add in identification of planting spots. So this is sort of the first step in taking care of your forest, is kind of knowing what you have. So this would put us in a pretty good place. And from this, we can create a management plan for our street trees.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for staff? Otherwise, I'll accept a motion on this.
Yeah, when was the last time we did a full inventory?
It was a little over 10 years ago. So, but that's something, even though it was a full inventory update, a little over 10 years ago, we still do, a part of our, just our maintenance, and then through the prune block, we still do go through and update the inventory, so it's not like it hasn't been touched. Anytime something is cut down or a tree is cut down or the part of the pruning block, those sections are really updated, because so it has been section by section updated, but it'll give us a really good baseline with everything being updated at the same time to have that management plan in place, and say like, here's the pruning blocks that need to be broken up, for instance, or things of that nature, so.
Awesome, thank you.
This
Any
is Sean.
questions for staff?
No, this is Katie. I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, on to item number 6, agreement with architecture and planning for design engineering services for Penny Klein and Firefighters Memorial Park ADA improvements. I know this has been something that's been kind of on the fronts of on our minds for a few years, I think. So good to see
I
this might
think-
be working. You're getting going on it.
Yeah, it's been definitely on as a project for a handful of years.
Mm.
So something that we were looking at previously, or the commission was looking at previously. ADA improvements for the soccer field, which is at Penny Klein. There's 8 soccer fields around Penny Klein, or in Penny Klein Park, and there's a trail that borders the northern fields. But as far as getting accessibility to the remaining fields, that would be a part of this design agreement with Parkitecture. And then also taking a look at ADA improvement for Adler Field, which is at Penny Klein Park, from the parking lot and getting into or to view the baseball, softball field, and the pads for bleachers and such, and dugouts. That whole area is going to be looked at. And then as well as the, oh my gosh, I can't say the soccer field that is in Firefighters Park, but the soccer stadium in Firefighters Park, Memorial Park, that will also be a part of this project to take a look at ADA compliancy. The school district, several parents have been reaching out over the last year plus for walkability and ADA compliancy to that stadium. So we're taking a look at all 3 of those project areas, similar to how the design was set up with Lakeview Park with the tennis course entrance, and how it was in like 3 sections. This will also be in 3 sections, and we can determine what we'd like to bid out and prioritize as a part of project and budget planning when the design and conceptual design is completed.
All right. So any questions for staff? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion on this one.
David, I will go ahead and make a motion to recommend approval of the agreement with Parkitecture for design and bid of the project not to exceed $15,160, contingent upon city attorney satisfaction.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. On to agenda item number 7. So, and we did receive, Kylie forwarded off some community feedback. Hopefully you all had an opportunity to take a look at that. But Kylie, if you would kind of fill us in a little bit on this, it looks like they're planning there's a plan for an art sculpture in new Lake, what are we calling that? Lake Street Park? Lake Street Park.
Street Park.
There we go.
Katie Nelson. I know that you are also on Arts Committee, so if I miss anything, feel free to join in or jump in with some more information. Kevin, if you could scroll to the sculpture the portage sculpture, just so we can view that a little bit, that would be great. But this agreement that's being presented and the sculpture that's being recommended is for Lake Street Park. And this is the sculpture that's on your screen is the one that the Arts Committee is recommending. And this was also brought to attention of the Common Council. Something that they wanted to really look at is making sure impervious surface was decreased in Lake Street Park. And so we were just reviewing with the artists, the footings and space and height, and making sure that the fit within the park over the time that it was brought to Common Council and the Arts Committee made sense as a staff perspective. Kevin and I had met out there to measure out the site. As far as the dimensions on top, it's 15 feet wide by 15 feet in height. So it doesn't take up the entire 15 by 15 as a square there. As you can see, the kind of the base is a lot skinnier than the top, and the top is made out of the materials that a sculpture is made out of is steel, and then a stained glass. And the glass is not breakable. I shouldn't even use the term glass. It's something very similar to that. We asked a lot of those questions about if it's breakable and like how how strong and secure this structure is. But there, so this is kind of the proposal, or this is the sculpture in the proposal that was recommended from the Arts Committee. They're looking for feedback from PRFC to then go to Common Council tomorrow night for approval to move forward with the agreement with the Portage sculpture as recommended for installation this spring. I hope that's enough of an overview, but if you have more questions that I didn't highlight, feel free to ask me, and Katie is also on the Arts Committee.
Good. So any questions for staff?
I just want to mention there was one comment emailed to us. Someone was concerned about accumulation of snow and water in the quote boat part of the piece, but it's actually separate pieces that look like little fish. So there's air and space in between each of those little blue pieces. So there's not going to be accumulation of water in it. And the art studio where this is coming from is in Minnesota. So the material is very weather tested. They are actually even sending us extra little fish in case something should happen. We can actually replace them.
Who would be responsible for maintenance in that situation?
The Arts Committee has a program that we take care of our public art installations. Sometimes we have to hire experts, but that's a role of the Arts Committee.
And there was a few other comments or concerns about like the height and dimensions of it. And then also if leaf debris or that got caught in it. But that we addressed with the artist today too, and they were looking at or they had mentioned that it should not stain the material and it should fall through or blow out of it, and we shouldn't have to attend to like scooping material out at any point. And then the maintenance on an annual basis, that's they're looking for is just that it would be hosed down after the winter season, just to kind of get any particles or remnants off of it, and just to be yes, hose down. And then they were looking at WD-40 to just keep the steel up, but that sounds like something Katie, the Arts Committee, would partake in or participate in, or
Yeah, I don't know how we'd get a hose down there unless we could borrow something from Parks, but usually it's on us to maintain our public art.
I would be okay with having a hose, like and spraying it down, because we have that capability on the back of a truck one time per year.
Mhm.
And if the Arts Committee did the WD-40 portion.
Yeah, I think we could handle that. As far as the visual barrier, I'm having a hard time seeing that could be a big problem because there's so much air and space around the whole thing. I can't imagine that that's going to be, it's not going to block anyone's view of the lake for sure.
And the Common Council wanted to see, wanted the height to be taller so that you could see it from the lake. That
Right.
was asked from Common Council, so we were looking for something taller.
Right.
And
Right.
taller structure, but
This is, I think, going to be our first 0.5% for arts installation. And I first introduced this idea to the Common Council 6 years ago, I want to say. So this is a long time coming and we're very excited about it. So I really hope that you guys are okay with it.
I thought this was a great looking piece, and I thought it was a very good place to put it. I've been a little concerned about some prior suggestions, but this one seems like it just fits in all ways. So I was very happy to see this.
That's awesome.
The 0.5% for arts too, just a little background on why this is one of the locations. It's TIF funded, and so it can only go in the TIF funded zone or area zone location. I don't know what it's called.
The TIF
district.
district.
Yes, that's the word. So when we looked at the TIF District 5, I believe what this is TIF District, is that right, Katie?
Yeah,
So for the parks and public land spaces, we were limited to where that would be located and timing. And we did a full search for several months to go take a look at different locations with the Arts Committee, and really wanted to make sure we found a location that made sense. And with the rollout of this brand new park, the Arts Committee was on board with, look at Lake Street Park at the same time.
Do you have another question? And I'm not seeing it on the dimensions. I know the top is 15 feet wide. What's the base that it sits on? How wide is that, or like
The
diameter,
base is
circumference?
about 4 feet by 4 feet.
Okay.
And they can also do where it's foot.
I didn't see it, but I maybe didn't look hard enough.
I asked that question today
Okay.
because I was trying to figure out. But that was 6 feet approximately.
Well, is it 6 feet?
6 feet high.
6 feet.
The sculpture is.
Yeah.
But
So the
the-
sculpture is 15 feet wide, but then 6 feet wide on
Well,
top.
Yeah, but you look at the base and you use the scale that's provided, and it looks like it's about 4 feet, 3.5, 4 feet round, circular. So it's really not a very big footprint.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I assumed the 15 by 6 was the top portion looking down.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming too.
Yep, okay, so they had mentioned it's 4 feet for all 3 legs to attach to one base. Or you could take a look at a footing for each of those. I'm gonna call them poles.
Mhm.
And it would be 8 by 10 inches for each. They just said however you would like to maintain the under area of the sculpture. We do have a no-mow fescue grass that's being utilized in that portion of the park. So we wouldn't be looking at mowing around that area. Once per year, once per year. So we still have an option of like the footing base, but we want it to be structurally sound, however that goes. And
am I
It would-
right to think, I'm sorry to interrupt, am I right to think that the one base would be easier to mow around that one time a year versus the individual?
100%.
Not to mention, I
Yes.
don't expect a lot of frost heave here, but if there were any, it would be better to have one platform than to have 3.
I would also definitely favor the single base. My question is there any kind of anchoring below ground level, like below the earth?
They had mentioned that it was 1/4. 4 feet from. With 1/4 inch thick, which I didn't feel like was a lot. And then I wanted to question that a little bit, because 1/4 inch for a footing doesn't seem enough.
And my question would be around the longevity, especially on the lake so close. I don't know how much earth movement you get, especially over a longer period of time. I'm also looking at Google Maps. This is the south side of the road, right? Of Lake Street.
Yeah, can you pull up? That's the other question I had is, could you pull up like even like a or like the site plan? If I exactly,
Where it's on the
Yeah.
site plan. I can kind of pull it up here, and then we could open up the site plan too.
Yep, that's old Google. It's basically from meeting out there. It's basically centered along the access to the street.
Okay,
And it's in the upper portion of the park, so
Oh, okay.
it's not like lower, it's in the upper portion.
Gotcha.
Point
So
out
it's-
the things.
It's squarely up by the street ramps, not
It's
down
more-
by the.
It's probably right about here,
Okay.
honestly, because the roundabout goes about here,
Look at the background.
But-
Yeah.
right about there.
So if there's like a seating area for people, is it behind that?
The seating area comes in here. Can you pull up this? I don't know.
If you know where to find it. The seating area is on the lake side of the sculpture.
Project files. I don't
Okay.
know. I guess like I could have had.
Yeah, my biggest concern was given the fact that there are look at the piece, single occupant residences to the south. And while there's some multifamily residences to the north, the emails we got seem to be from the residences to the south. Which isn't a whole lot of homes, given the volume of feedback we got from the community. That was my thought when I took a look at the site.
I think there were one or two pieces of feedback from the condos just to the north,
Mhm.
but
I was assuming the proximity was much closer to the residences on the south.
mhm.
It's not as close as I originally expected, but my concern would definitely be more their feedback, just given the
Mhm.
proximity to their homes and the access road for Lake Street.
What? All right. So
Okay.
right here is going to be the, we moved the tree over to this location, so there was a few modifications on this plan. The tree is now located in this location, and stepping stones are right here and square up right along this path. Erica, to your point, these are the seated pads right here and here. And then the artwork would be sitting right about in here. And that's to scale, I believe.
Okay. So for the most part, people who are at the park, you know, the benches down on the piers, you know, they're still gonna have an unobstructed view of the lake. Really, it's just the people, if you're on the street looking at the lake, the sculpture will be kind of like right in their.
Once you're
okay.
in the park, if
Yep.
you're standing here or anywhere within the park, you're gonna be able to view the lake very,
Mhm. Yep, okay.
I also love the 15-foot height because I think it'll keep people from climbing on it.
I don't even think.
I mean, hopefully it's too high.
there's some art that is good for kids and people to climb on, but this isn't the one.
No.
Any other questions or feedback for staff?
No, this is Katie. I wholeheartedly move that we approve the plan for this new art sculpture called Portage for Lake Street Park.
All right, we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second that motion. This is Jamie.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All
Opposed?
right.
One.
Oh, one opposed. Okay. All right, motion carries. Okay. On to agenda item number 8. That one, that was the PRFC kind of planning calendar for this year.
I just emailed this out very recently tonight, so you guys can take a look, but I'm just gonna pull this up really quick here. Basically, I just wanted to try to get a work plan of what agenda items that will be coming forward in 2025 and what our schedule looks like for this upcoming year. So you are more than welcome to take a look at this. We're always open to agenda item recommendations, but I do want to see those to Nick at least a week in advance of our meeting, which so we have enough time to respond and get something on the agenda, or it would be moved to the following one. But basically, we have all of our meeting dates and when those agendas are due, and just location, time, and we have all of our agenda items for the upcoming year. And this is a tool that we're working to kind of just be prepared for all of the items that are coming forward as a part of our internal team. And I also wanted just if there's any feedback on things that could be added. A better look at this is going to be the tab future agenda items. And this doesn't have the dates of exactly when they're going to be on the agenda. But these are all of the ones that we're hopefully going to be adding to this upcoming year's work plan. And they're kind of categorized. Some of them are for all divisions of this of your purview, but they're under Parks, Rec, Forestry, user groups, agreements, other. So you guys can take a look kind of through a little bit further. I took note of what some of you had requested. These are capital agenda items, or these have come from internal conversations with our entire staff team of what priorities we want to have for 2025. They don't encompass everything, and some of these might not even make it to the agenda if we don't get that far in our work plan, but a heads up. And if you're welcome to kind of review or take a look at them a little bit further. And park tour locations, and now we've amended those.
Okay. Any questions for staff on the kind of the plan for 2025 moving forward? Or input?
A lot of things. A lot of
Right.
things to go.
Yeah. A little bit. Every year's a busy year, so we're good there. All right. If we don't have any other, if no one has any feedback or anything like that for Kylie on this item, I believe we're down to the liaison reports portion of our meeting. So Plan Commission met last week. We actually had a very light agenda. The biggest thing that we did was so the school district at the high school area leases land from the city, and they would like to change. I think we talked about this actually in one of our meetings. Rezone part of city-owned land to accommodate a new baseball field and to relocate the softball field down here. I believe City Council kind of rejected their initial request to put artificial turf in place. So they and the original was rezoning, which then came back to Planning Commission and was approved to rezone it Parks Recreation land. So the school district will be able to move forward with redoing their baseball field and putting in their moving the softball field to the high school campus. Also, work is moving forward. This doesn't really pertain to PRC that much, but work is moving forward on developing the Allen Boulevard soccer field sites. There will be some apartments being built there. We've been working with the developer in a few meetings about some various issues. This last one was specifically about sidewalk placement in trees. So we're doing whatever we can possibly can to preserve some trees that are located along Middleton Beach Road and make sure that they are as healthy as they can be, and hopefully withstand the construction and be able to move forward.
And that is something that with developments and and forestry and how it relates, is definitely connected to our board. Something that we've been noticing on that project and a few others this year, is tree removal is a part of that, the development process, and how we should be taking a look at those or reviewing those, or if ordinance can help support either the protection of them or in the future, a fee that would help support our tree canopy as a whole in the city, such as our park development, our impact fees, that those would be kind of similar, how they're reviewed with a PRFC or this commission.
Right. Okay. David, do you have any updates on Conservancy Land Committee?
Nothing much. We did have a discussion about the Bach Community Garden. Kylie was there to talk about this, and basically, the Parks and Rec is going to be taking over the administration of the gardens, and so we had a little discussion on that, but that did get approved.
Okay. Thank you much. And Erica, do you have any update on the community campus committee?
We did meet, I think it was last week, on Wednesday and Thursday. We like had a little block project we did, trying to see how much we need, you know, so many square footage for the library and the city hall, senior center, like if we wanted to rebuild or add on, and there was not enough room, I don't think, to add on. So I think the consensus is to rebuild. So they're gonna give us some designs, and then also there's like a road thing. How about the theater? What do we call those? They were like redo the road out here. I don't know if that's a for sure thing or not. They have 3 different
It was all,
ideas.
yeah, it was all conceptual. So,
That was for like the geothermal, I think. That's why.
yeah.
Okay.
Like have pavers and like their seated areas or driving and some trees and so.
Not that I was liaison to this, but there was a meeting at Village Green regarding possible pavement of some trails within the Conservancy, and I thought there was some good discussion on there, and it was suggested that maybe a subcommittee could be brought forward, and I have a feeling that some of this may bounce off parks at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah, that was unrelated to Erica's, Erica's topic.
Yes, correct.
Erica's topic was that, just the 3 buildings with the community campus, and they were conceptually looking at either rebuilding or remodeling and improving the current, like she said, and they're just to the phase of trying to figure out the space needs, and what that looks like for either option. And I think it was recommended, back, from the committee that, there would be a rebuild, to help, our rebuild for the senior center, library, city hall. One thing that I do want to bring to attention, with that entire plan is, people do forget about our single rec room that we use at the HAC. That's part of the senior center. And that room is very, very important to our recreation and operations, as it's our only designated space to running program. It's not the best size or usability currently, but if we lose a designated room, that would be tragic to our operations. So we really need 4 big rooms, but we have 1 small room. So I don't want to, in the transition of the build or through the community campus plan, that we would ever that 1 at least designated room space. But if we get more, hey, that would be great.
It's better.
But the community center too, just to highlight this a little bit, is a part of this project. We've been taking a look at a community center, and they did determine that a community center can't be added with the current city square footage downtown, unless you would build very, very, very tall up. And that's not the direction that the committee to go in. So the community center needs to be looked at as far as location and placement, and as there's a lot of space needs for recreation services, and that would be coming at a later date, but still relevant and a part of this project, as it's a city facility that has space needs as well. Just, yeah. And then, David Shaw was bringing up that there was a community forum held last week Thursday at Village Green related to paving. There's been a petition that was signed by 48 total people. 38 of them were City of Middleton residents, 8 of them are non-residents, and that was brought to attention to the Common Council and brought to Ped Bike Transit Committee for paving trails, a specific trail segment in the Conservancy with various reasons that they're looking at that. And that was discussed at that public forum. And staff is internally meeting to have a response for the community, all those commissions, committees, so that we know, or we're on the same page of what direction that will travel.
To be clear, was the petition in favor or opposed?
In favor, yes, of paving the segment between Orchid Heights and Highland Road, which is the segment that runs by the community garden and the water tower, if we're not familiar, so.
Yeah, and that gets washed out very, very easily. And I can tell you from experience, if you get too much speed going down on a bike and you get that loose gravel, it's not a good ending. Put it that way. Especially for the kids.
We also heard from somebody at council who's permanently in a wheelchair, and that access is kind of important, and the gravel makes it really hard.
Right.
Yes, we just can't have any further discussion on that.
Yep.
So.
Yep, okay. All right, I think that's all we have, so I will declare us adjourned. Thank you all for being here tonight, and we will like in a couple weeks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.